Hey guys, Gathering Magic back again, and wanted to do a video on the new Conclave Arcana rewards, chess versus draws, which one is better, which one should you go for. Had a few people ask me to do a video on this and also go over my strategy for my accounts on what I'm going to go for, what my goals are. So the first thing you have to ask yourself with the reward cards are, what are your goals? Basically, are you just interested in cards? Are you interested in getting some of the unbinding scrolls? Are you just a gambler and you just want to do chess and see what you get? Another big question to ask yourself is, how much glint do you earn per day or season? Are you a champ player? Are you playing in the higher leagues and you're getting 1,000 or more glint for every win? Are you like me, someone who plays in bronze and silver, and you're getting anywhere from 100, 150 to maybe 400 glint per win? So there are a lot of variables to look at, but we're going to go through all the different types of strategies, what the best options are, whether you're going for cards, whether you're going for draw entries, jackpot cards, and my favorite, gold cards. Okay, so let's start with just draws. So if you're just going to go for draws, it's very easy. It's 300 glint for every common, 1,500 glint for a rare, 15,000 glint for an epic, and 70,000 glint for a legendary. Now these costs are all exactly double for what they were for the Rebellion reward set. Now the problem is, if all you're doing is doing draws and you need to max out every card, okay, this is how the math breaks down. So it's 300 glint for every common, 12 cards. You need 400 of each card, so you're looking at 1.4 million glint just to get your commons maxed. For rares, you're looking at 1,500 glint. There's 12 different rares. You need 115 of each. Now you're looking at just over 2 million glint. Epics at 15,000 each. There's 7 epics, 46 of each copy, just under 5 million glint. And then your legendary cards at 70,000 glint apiece. There's 12 different legendaries. You need 11 of each, over 9 million glint. So bare minimum, if everything goes perfect, which we know it doesn't, you're looking at just over 17.5 million glint, just going for maxing out your cards and just doing draws. Now I would say more likely you're probably going to look at 19 to 20 million glint because of the RNG. When you need that last 1 or 2 legendary cards and you're spending 70,000 glint trying to get that last one, it could take a while. So I would say a good range is you're going to spend 19 to 20 million glint if you just want to max out cards and nothing else. But what one option could be, maybe just try to get everything max silver first by doing draws, and then after that go for chess to just try to have a chance of getting some of the unbinding scrolls that maybe you can sell, getting your draw entries if you're interested in going for the raffle and all that kind of stuff. So if you just want to go for max silver, how much is it going to cost? So your commons, you only need 60 of each. So now you're looking at 216,000 glint at least. Rares, you only need 25 of each rare, so about 450,000 glint. Epics, you only need 10. You only need to get those to level 3. So you're looking at just over 1 million glint. And then your legendaries, to get max silver, you only need 3 of each. But that's still going to be 2.5 million glint. So the minimum you're going to spend is about 4.2, 4.3 million glint. It's probably going to be closer to 4.5 to 5 million glint, once again, because of RNG. So once you spend, the 5 million glint-ish, and you can get your deck right around max silver, maybe then you can move on to chess, if you're looking for some of the other rewards. And like I said, if you're going for silver, which is all I'm going to do, then I'm set, and then I can kind of gamble and go for chess. Okay, so now the main part of the video. What are your best chess options for each type of reward? Okay, so the first thing is, what is your best chance of getting epic and legendary cards? Now, regardless of the type of chest that you're going to go for, they're all pretty close for the amount of cards in them. Whether it's a minor chest or ultimate chest, it's between 39 to 40% chance of getting a card. 74 to 80% chance of a common card, and then it's a straight 20% chance of a rare across the board. So the only difference between the 3 chests as far as cards go is your epic and legendary drop rate. So let's do a deep dive into that. So for the minor chests, 40% chance to pull a card when you do, and when you do pull a card, 1 out of every 400 cards is going to be an epic. So if you spend a legendary potion, you can cut that in half, and now you're looking at 1 in 200. For a legendary card, 1 in 2,000 cards that you get is going to be a legendary for a minor chest, and then 1 in 1,000 with a legendary potion. So you need to get a card, which you only have a 40% chance of, and only 1 in 400 is going to be an epic. So that means you're going to have to buy 1,000 minor chests. Of those, 40% will have a card, and then of those, 1 out of 400 will be an epic. So I know it's a lot of math here. So 1 in 1,000 minor chests will have an epic on average. So if you use a potion, you can cut that to 1 in 500. So minor chests cost 500 glint each. So if you don't use a potion, you just buy 1,000 chests. That's going to be 500,000 glint on average that you're going to spend for every epic. Now if you go the route of potions and you add the 1 legendary potion to double your chance, that costs an extra 80 glint per chest. So now you're looking at 580 glint that you're going to have to spend for each chest, but now you only have to buy 500 chests compared to 1,000. You're still looking at 290,000 glint just to get an epic card. You know, you want to say guaranteed, but you know how the RNG goes. But, you know, supposedly to have a 100% chance, you're looking at 290,000 glint. Now, for a legendary card, about 1 in 5,000 minor chests will have a legendary card. Of course, half of that with potions. So, 500 glint, 5,000 chests, you're looking at 2.5 million glint on average is what you're going to spend to get 1 legendary card. And then if you use a potion, it's going to be just under 1.5 million glint. So for an example, if you were to spend 500,000 glint on minor chests, you would get 1,000 minor chests. And if you're not using potions, you're going to get, 400 cards. And of those 400 cards, you should get 319 commons, 80 rares, and 1 epic is what you should expect to pull from 1,000 minor chests. Now, if you go to major, you can see the percentage chance is almost the same. It's just slightly less than 40%. Now, with major chests, the odds of getting an epic and a legendary have increased. So now 1 in 67 chests, major chests, will have an epic, about 1 in 34 with a potion, 1 in 200 chance for a legendary. So, of course, with the major chests, your odds are a lot better of getting those higher rarity cards. So to break this down, 1 in every 168 major chests should have an epic, and then 1 in 84 with a potion. So you're spending 2,500 glint for a major chest. At 168 chests, you're looking at 420,000 glint, should get you an epic. And then if you use a potion, you add another 80 glint. You only need half the chests because you're doubling your odds. And now you're looking at 216,700 glint to get an epic from a major chest. And then to move to the legendaries, 1 in 500 major chests should have a legendary, 1 in 250 with a potion. So you're looking at 1 in 250,000, so 1,250,000 glint for a legendary out of a major chest. And then if you use that 1 legendary potion, you only need to buy half the chest, so you're looking at 645,000. So for an example, for major chests, let's say you have 500,000 glint to spend, you're going to get 200 major chests. Of those 200 chests, 80 should have cards in them. Now you can get some multiples in major chests, unlike minor where you only can get 1. So on average, of those 80 chests that have cards, you should expect 126 to 189 common cards, 16 to 48 rare cards, and 1 or 2 epics. I don't want to put like 1 legendary because you don't have like a 100% chance at this point, but as you guys know, sometimes you do get lucky and you'll get an occasional legendary card. All right, moving to ultimate chests. So now the percentage dropped from 40% to 39%, but still you're looking at 1 in 25 chance for an epic, about 1 in 13 with potions, 1 in 63% chance of a legendary, 1 in 32 with potions. So if you buy 64 ultimate chests, you should have one epic in there if you're not going to use a potion. If you do use a potion, it'll be 1 in 32. So ultimate chests cost you 10,000 glint each. So for those 64 chests, you're looking at 640,000 glint is what you're going to spend on average before you get an epic card. At 10,000 glint plus the 80 for the potion, now you're buying half the amount of chests. You're only buying 32. Now you're looking at just over 320,000 glint if you do use that legendary potion. Okay, so 1 in 162 ultimate chests should have a legendary, 1 in 81 with potions. So 10,000 glint, 162 chests, 1.6 million glint to get a legendary. And then if you're going to use a potion, of course you're only using buying half the chests, you're looking at just over 800,000 glint with a potion. So for ultimate chests, let's say once again you have 500,000 glint, you decide to spend it on ultimate chests, you can get 50 of them. Of those 50, about 20 of them should have cards in them. And then because you can get multiple cards, on average you're going to get anywhere from 45 to 105 commons, 4 to 20 rares, and you should get an epic. Once again, not a guaranteed legendary, but there's always that chance. So just to kind of recap it to make it a little bit easier to see. So minor chests, the amount of glint you need to, pretty much guarantee you're going to get an epic is 290,000 glint. For a legendary in a minor chest, you're looking at just over or just under 1.5 million. Major chests, you're looking at over 216,000 glint for an epic, 645,000 for a legendary, and then ultimate 320,000 plus glint for an epic and 816,000 for legendary. So the winner right now, if you're just going for the epic and legendary cards, it looks like major chests are the way to go. They give much higher percentage chance than a minor, and they are 4 times cheaper than an ultimate. So the way the math works out, it looks like if you're just interested in getting those higher rarity cards, and you're not doing direct draws, you're doing chests, go for the major chests. That's the winner. Okay, now what's your best option if you just want cards? Draws or chests? This one is pretty easy. It's draws. I went through and did all the numbers, and it's like even though you have a chance of getting multiple cards in a chest, with only a 39 or 40% chance of each chest actually having a card, it just does not compete with draws. So if all you want are cards, just pure number of cards, you don't care about anything else, it's pretty obvious, just go for the draws. Don't think, oh, I'm going to get a chest and I could get multiples where I'm only going to get one for a draw. The math just doesn't work out. So definitely go for card draws. Okay, but let's say you want cards and you don't want to do draws. You're like, hey, Gathering, I just want to go for chests and I want to get the most cards I can get out of chests. Which ones should I go for? Should I go for ultimates because they give you multiples? Should I go for minor because they're cheap? What's the best option? Okay, so once again, if you had that 500,000 glint, here's what you could expect to get. 1,000. You could buy 1,000 minor chests. Okay, and of those, remember, only 400 are going to have cards. So you're going to get 319 commons on average, 80 rares and an epic, 200 major chests. Of course, you're going to get, just cards in not all 200 chests. It's going to break down to about, like I said, 126 to 189 commons, 16 to 48 rares, 1 or 2 epics, and then 500,000 glint only gets you 50 ultimate because they're 10,000 each. So you're looking at 45 to 105 commons, 4 to 20 rares, and 1 epic. So the clear winner is minor chests. Even though you're only getting 1 card, they're just so cheap. You have no chance of multiple cards in a minor chest, but yeah, they're so cheap, you're going to do so much better. And once again, like I said, every once in a while, you're going to get lucky and you're going to get that legendary card out of a minor chest. It's very rare, but it can happen. So, yep, the winner for cards out of chests is the minor chests. The next thing, draw entries. So one of the new things that they added in the chests are draw entries for the raffle. Now, some people may be interested, especially me, playing at high bronze, low silver. I'm not going to get very many entries for doing my, 5 wins and then getting, I think I'll get maybe up to 6 entries. So I'm going to look to pick up as many draw entries as I can. So this is important for me and probably is for a lot of players that play in bronze and silver. So what's your best option here? Should you go for the chests or should you just buy them directly from the store, from the reward shop for 2,000 glint each? Okay, now the minor chests, if you do get a draw, you're only going to get one draw entry. And the percentage chance is 1 out of every 10 minor chests will have a draw entry. So for 10 chests, 5,000 glint, you should get a draw entry. So that equates to 1 entry for every 5,000 glint you spend on a minor chest. Now, if you go to major chests, now one of the things I asked this in the town hall yesterday, I think Dave said you can get 3 draws. Now, I don't know if it's just 3 or if it's up to 3. So it might be you can only get 3 entries and that's it, which is great, or it could be a range where it's 1 to 3. So not 100% sure, but I do remember he did say, it's like 3 for a major, and I think it was 5 for an ultimate. So 1 in 8 chests should have a draw entry in major chests. So 8 chests, which cost you 20,000 glint, you should get, and let's just say it's going to be 3. It's going to get 3 entries. So now you're looking at you're spending just under 7,000 glint to get that 1 entry in a major chest. And ultimate, like I said, I think he said you could get up to 5 draw entries from an ultimate chest. Ultimate chest odds, 1 in 7 chests should have a draw entry. So if you're spending 10,000 glint per ultimate chest, you get 7 chests, you should get 1 to 5 draw entries, and then each one costs you about 14,000 glint. And like I mentioned earlier, 2,000 glint can get you an entry from the glint store. I think this is going to be in batches like merits, where you can get like up to 10 in the first batch, and then it's going to go up by 50% and so on. So you should be able to get 10 entries, I'm thinking, for 20,000 glint. Then the cost will increase, so then it'll be 30,000 glint for the next 10 entries. So if you are someone that plays at the lower leagues like I do, this will be a great way for me to just pick up a few extra entries. If you're playing in Diamond or Champion and you're getting 18, 20, 30 entries, for every 5 wins, this may not matter to you. But overall, the winner, if you are looking up to pick up these entries at the cheapest price, it's just get them directly from the glint store, 2,000 each. All right, unbinding scrolls. This is one I think a lot of people will be interested in because this is another new addition to the reward shop. We will be able to get unbinding scrolls where we will be able to unbind cards of all different rarities. So the odds are 1 in 20 minor chests should have an unbinding scroll, 1 in 14 major chests should have an unbinding scroll, and 1 in 10 ultimate chests should have an unbinding scroll. So for 20 minor chests, you're looking at 10,000 glint, so that should get you 1 scroll. 14 major chests, you're looking at spending 35,000 glint for an unbinding scroll, and then 10 ultimate chests will cost you 100,000 glint for an unbinding scroll. Now, you do have a chance of getting some of the higher rarity scrolls, higher percent chance from ultimate, but the clear winner, I think, again, is minor chests. I mean, look at this. You could get 10 unbinding scrolls in minor chests compared to 1 from an ultimate chest for 100,000 glint. So the clear winner to me is minor chests. So if you want to like farm these scrolls, just buy as many minor chests as you can. Whatever the batch size is, max out that batch. Granted, you're only going to get 1 scroll. You're not going to get multiples. You're probably going to get a lot of commons and rares. But if you're just looking to farm these things, definitely go for the minor chests. Okay, another new thing that they added, we've had jackpot prizes before, but we're going to have jackpot cards. Now, not all the details have been released yet. From what I have heard, there is going to be, it's not going to be right at launch. It's going to be a month or a little bit longer before these cards are added. They're not going to be reward cards. They're not going to be part of the reward card set. These are going to be unique, specific cards, 1 as far as I know of each rarity. So a common, rare, epic, and legendary. The one you could pull could be anything from a regular foil up to a black foil arcane. So this isn't something where they're going to have a separate raffle for these jackpot cards to try to get the black foils and the arcanes. This is going to be part of the jackpot. So this, I think, once people realize how cool these cards are, I think a lot of people are going to be trying to go for these jackpot cards. So the odds of a jackpot card, 1 in 10,000 minor chests will have one. So if you're spending 500 glint each, you're looking at about 5 million glint you got to spend before you're probably going to get one jackpot card. Major chests, the odds go to 1 in 1,000. So now you're looking at about 2.5 million glint you'll have to spend in major chests to get a jackpot card. And then for ultimate, 1 in 100 chests, 1% chance we'll have a jackpot card. So you're looking at spending 1 million glint. So the winner is definitely the ultimate chest. So if you're interested in getting those jackpot cards for the lowest amount of glint, even though they cost 10,000 glint a piece, you definitely want to get those ultimate chests to try to get those jackpot cards. Okay, and now my favorite one, the gold card. So they got rid of the rarity draws in the glint store. I mean, I understand why they did it. I like the fact they did it to make them more rare and more unique. They are going to be tradable, sellable right away, so that is very cool. But the chance of getting one of these has dropped from 2% down to 1%. Still 2% if you use alchemy potions. So like I say, guys, you always want to make sure if you are interested in gold cards, always use your potions. But now the amount of potions you need, it scales up. So if you're going for like a card draw for a common, it only takes 1 potion like it used to. But if you're going to go for a legendary card draw and you want to double your chance, it's going to cost you 20 alchemy potions. So keep that in mind. So common draw, 300 glint is that 1% chance. It's going to cost an extra 100 glint for the alchemy potion. So if you use potions, now you're looking at 400 glint per draw for 2% chance. But if you want to get kind of a guaranteed one, now you only have to do 50 draws instead of 100. We'll go through those numbers in a minute. Rare draws, 1,500 glint for a 1% chance or 2,000 glint for 2% chance because you have to buy, 5 potions for a rare. Epics, 15,000 glint for that 1% chance or 16,000 glint for 2%. And then legendary draws, 70,000 for a 1% or 72,000 glint for a 2% chance. Okay, so let's break down the cost for quote unquote guaranteed. You should get a gold foil. So if you're going for the common and you don't use potions, you're looking at every 30,000 glint. You should get a gold foil. If you do use potions, you've cut that cost down to 20,000. Rares, you're looking at 150,000 glint to get a gold foil. If you use potions, you knock that down to 100,000. Epics, you're looking at 1.5 million glint or 800,000 with potions. And finally, legendary, every 7 million glint for a gold legendary or 3.6 million with potions. So for chests, it only costs 1 alchemy potion for each chest. And remember, you can still pull gold rares, epics, and legendary cards from chests, even though you only spent 1 potion. So for the chest to try to get gold cards, minor chests, you have a 0.25% chance. So that means you need 400 chests that have cards in them to get a gold card. So you have to buy 1,000 total chests, 500 each. So this would cost you 500,000 if you don't use potions. If you do use potions, it would cost you 300,000. Major chests, you're looking at 0.75% chance of getting a gold. So you need 134 of those chests to have cards in them. That will be a total of 336 chests. So 840,000 without potions, 436,800 with potions. And your ultimate chests have a 2% chance. So you need 50 chests to have a card in them, but only 39% of the chests have cards in them. So that's why you have to buy 128 chests. 1.28 million glint. If you use potions, you're looking at 646,400. So the gold card that you get out of these chests can be any rarity. More than likely, they're going to be common or rare. So the minor chests are only going to have 1 gold card no matter what. The major chests, you might get lucky and get 1 or 2. You might get 2 commons or rares. Ultimate chests, you could get up to 4 commons, or you could get up to 3 rares. Like I said, this is part of the RNG. But like I always say, you definitely want to use 1 alchemy potion. for every chest you buy, no matter what type of chest. And I think this goes across the board. I mean, if you're interested in gold cards in any way, shape, or form, you definitely want to use them for chests and for card draws. Okay, let's recap just all your different options and what the winner is. So if you're just looking for your best chance of epics and legendary cards, I would say definitely go for your major chests. If you're looking at draws versus chests, which are the best for cards, definitely card draws. If you just want cards out of chests, minor, major, or ultimate, I think the amount of cards you're going to get is going to be the clear winner for minor chests. You're looking to get the most draw entries you can, buy them directly from the store for 2,000 glint each. Unbinding scrolls, you want to farm those things, definitely go minor chests. Jackpot cards, your winner is ultimate chests. And then finally, if you want to get your best chance of gold cards, minor chests with just one alchemy potion is your cheapest option there. Okay, now let's just go over my strategy real quick, what I'm going to do with my accounts. So my two $10 accounts, what I'm going to do is my goal is to get to max bronze for the reward cards, but just the commons and rares. You know, if I get an epic from time to time, that's cool. I'm going to continue to play in Frontier, try to get 2 rewards per day. Maybe every once in a while I can get 3 rewards. On my newest account, Namgib, I'm going to just open the packs and grow my deck that way. But I will play Modern enough to earn Glint to get the 10 legendary potions for those 2 packs that I'm going to open. I'm going to spend my daily Glint on the potions and then save all my end of season Glint for the reward cards. And I figure if I have to get 800 glint a day for the potions and a 15-day season, I should have around 12,000 glint to spend at end of season. And I'm just going to divide that up between the commons and rares. I'll get 4 rares and 20 commons each season. My Get For account, which was my original $10 account, I'm going to try to sell the packs in Frontier just to get the Frontier and Conclave Arcana cards I want. I know packs are down to like 15 cents. But if I can pick up 30 cents a day, you know, I can get a decent amount of Frontier cards for 30 cents, maybe a gold here or there, or just get, you know, a couple Conclave Arcana cards. My main account, Jovac, I want to get a max silver deck for reward cards. I'd like to get all rarities. I know it's going to take time with those epics and legendaries being expensive. Don't know how much time I'm going to have to play all these 3 accounts, trying to juggle between Frontier and Modern. But for my main account, I'm going to try to concentrate on Modern as much as time allows. From time to time, I do sell some packs, either Frontier packs or Chaos Legion. Any profits I get from that, if I'm not going to put it into land, I want to get my Frontier deck to max level, max silver, and I'd love to get as many gold foils as I can. I think I have almost all of the Archons max for gold. So after that, common rare, and then the higher rarities. I'm going to use my daily glint for common and rare draws, and then end the season, save that all up. Hopefully I have enough to get, you know, a few epics, and if somehow I can get 70,000, excuse me, I will get a legendary, but it's going to be a while probably before I get any legendary cards on my main account. Okay guys, there you have it. There is the strategy that I'm going to go for and what I think are your best options. I'll leave this here so you guys can just kind of see it, check it out, screenshot it, whatever. But like I said, I think these are your best options depending on what you want to go for and what your goals are. So super excited for Tuesday. Can't wait to start collecting the cards. And like I said, in another additional month or so, when they add those jackpot cards, it's going to be really cool to finally see what those cards, what they are, what the stats are. So stay the course, keep out frontiering and monitoring, and have fun. See you soon.